In this video, we'll look at a high-accuracy instrument called the real-time kinematic GPS. Oftentimes, you also know this as a RTK GPS, and we can use this global positioning system device to gather the near exact location of our ground control points. By this time, I assume that you have already identified or set up ground control points in your study area. To learn more about ground control points, please see the other videos in this series. In an RTK GPS setup, you have the survey tripod that you see here, the receiver unit, as well as the antenna. And how this works is the antenna receives signal from the satellite, as well as correction signal from a base station nearby. And that information is passed on to the receiver, which then take the information from the satellite as well as the base station and process them to get you that high accuracy reading of where you are. With an RTK GPS unit, you can get accuracy level down to about the centimeter level or better. So now let's look at how we set up our RTK GPS unit. You need to securely mount your receiver onto the survey pole. As you can see here. And second of all, you need to make sure to put your antenna onto the survey pole. And then connect the two. Turn on your device. Extend the survey pole to your desired height. And double check to make sure that your survey pole is still level. So once that is done, you can start collecting the location of your ground control point in the study area. And in this particular setup, the data from the receiver is streamed to my mobile device via Bluetooth. And we can use a data collection app such as ESRI's Collector for ArcGIS to collect and store that information.
Now that we have set up the hardware components of our real-time kinematic GPS unit, let's look at how we can use the EOS 20 Pro app to record the information needed to incorporate ground control points in my drone data processing workflow. Keep in mind that there are lots of other apps you can use to record your information. I'm only using the EOS 20 Pro app because I'm using the Aero Gold unit manufactured by EOS in this demonstration. First, you need to make sure that your RTK GPS receiver is turned on. Second, open the EOS 20 Pro app. If GPS is not already turned on in your mobile device or phone, the app will ask you to turn it on. In my case, it's already turned on. Next, for the purpose of incorporating ground control points or GCPs in the drone data processing workflow, in the software that I'm using, which is Agisoft PhotoScan, you only need the latitude, the longitude, and the altitude or orthometric height information at a minimum. Next, if you have not done so already, you can connect your phone or mobile device to the RTK GPS receiver by clicking on the Start GPS function here. In my case, since I already started the GPS and connected to my GPS receiver, it only reads Stop GPS. Next, you should also make sure that the enabled mock location is checked here. And you can also set the altitude information to come from the orthometric height under Settings. Fifth, make sure that your phone is receiving correction signals from the nearest base station by clicking on the RTK Status tab. and checking the diagnostic section here. You should also see the word fixed up near the top of your screen if you're receiving correction signals. If you're not receiving correction signal, you may need to click on the differential menu and review your settings there. Make sure that you have the right IP address, the right port number, as well as the right username and password for accessing the correction signal from your nearest base station. You may also want to make sure that your internet connection is stable. Lastly, take your RTK receiver and phone to the location of each of the ground control points. And before you record the information for each of your points, you're going to want to check again under the RTK status tab to make sure that the horizontal root mean square error, or the HRMS, is of an acceptable level for your purpose. Then go back to the status tab, the position tab here, and take a screenshot of each of your locational readings. Consult your mobile device manual or Google to learn how to take a screenshot with your phone. For my Samsung S8 phone, it is by pressing the power key and the volume down key simultaneously. Once you're done taking the locational reading for all of your ground control points, you can use a program like Excel to create a spreadsheet with 4 columns. The first column should have a name called label. Under this column is where you store field nodes or names for each of your ground control points. The second column should be called longitude. The third column should be called latitude. And the last column should be called altitude. Using the screenshots that you have taken, enter the label, longitude, latitude, and altitude information for each of your ground control points location reading into the spreadsheet. This is the file that you'll import into a software like EdgeSoft PhotoScan when it asks you for ground control point information.
To learn more about ground control point and RTK GPS, please check out other videos in our series.